Okay, so let's continue with the Docker. Let me. Where is the button? Share it. Okay, so let me see if the slide was updated. No, it wasn't. Okay, I'll have to figure out what was the problem, because I have this app.pl that's supposed to tell it to update it, but let me try another thing. Maybe no, it's not mapped properly. Oh, I know. I mean, okay, I know. Whatever. I'll fix it, and then the slides will be updated. So we were we were building this, and basically I think that's the whole thing that you need to know. I think about, more or less. I mean, there are a couple of other things, but more or less that's everything that's about to know. There is to know about Docker. Okay, so you have a from, then you have one or more of these runs. You can have the copy, and I don't think there are too many other things.
Environment variables are good to set sometimes in there, aren't they?
Yeah, environment variables you can set. Let's see there. Here. This is the okay. Let's just go over the rest of the slides here. So this is a Docker image that runs cron -f, and it basically creates a cron job from this file that was copied to cron tab. Sorry. So what we do here is we have base this image, install the cron system, copy the cron tab txt file, which looks just like this from our system, and then run this cron tab this command that installs the cron file, which was copied to the /opt. So this is the /opt cron tab is the copy internally in the image as it was built up. Okay, and then this is the command that will be executed when we say docker run, which just runs cron in a sort of interactive mode, because the point is that if the command that you give here stops, when it ends, then the container is closed. Okay, so you have to have something running all the time. You actually pointed out that that's how you used it, that you had some program that it was running, and then the Docker image container was gone, which is good if that's what you want. But if you would like to have something that runs continuously, then sometimes, okay, like a cron job, then you have to do something that will keep the Docker container running. This can be, for example, that you run cron -f. It can be running tail on a file, tail -f on a file that just is there. Nothing happens to it, but tail will keep waiting, and that's sort of a trick to run a container even though you don't do anything with it. And so if you run, for example, Postgres inside, then the Postgres is executed most likely not as a service, but as an interactive application. Not interactive, but like run Postgres instead of saying run it as a daemon. Okay.
Yeah, in the same way, I've used it to run a Perl Dancer 2 web application, which you'd probably run as a service, as you say, but in this instance, you use it as the last command and say, this is what I want you to do until you're terminated.
Exactly. Yeah. So you can do both. Actually, you could install it as a service, but still you have to do something that will keep the container thinking that it does something. Okay, whether it's just waiting for an empty file to grow. Okay, so here was the other one, that run cron and then tail f on some file that just is there. It nothing happens to it, but tail -f just waits for it. Okay, I don't know why I called it Jumanji, but well, there were reasons for it when I was creating the slide. Okay, so we saw this, that how to mount the host directory to the /opt in this case. And what else? Okay, so you can pass command line arguments here this way. So you can set up that I am going to have arguments, text, and this is going to be a default value, but you can actually pass it this way. So when I run the Docker, when I run the build actually, I pass the value here. So at build time, I can create these arguments. What else? Env, that's what you mentioned. So there is the env. I'm not sure if I have an example here. So I will just have the links to the slides. So you can define env inside the container, inside the Docker file, and that's how you will define environments variables for the image. But you can also provide the --env for the Docker run. So I don't know if I have an example for that. Not here. I don't see if I have. We can take a look at later. But basically, you have a --env, and then you can provide environment variables when you run the container. Okay. Now let's get back to the one that we all, unless you have any other questions. Let's see what's, yeah. So let's just see what examples do we have here. So that's just a basic Perl command running. Here I just copy a Perl file. So this is during build time. I copy the Perl file that I have here. And this is the Perl file. And this is what will be run when the container runs. Yes, and I have a placeholder for a Docker app. But I don't have it here. Okay, so what we were doing here, I don't need this ABC anymore. So this is the folder where I have my Docker. If you remember, this is the README file, and this is the Docker file I have. So this is the Docker image I created myself to play around with all kind of languages and packages. And I just put in all kind of stuff that I would like to have them. So Pythonish, Ruby things, and I don't have the Perl part. So, but this is
good.
Sorry?
I said that's no good.
Yeah, so I have it apt-get install cpan-. That's it. But what you can see here is that these are the layers. So I put all these together already as I was playing. But now if I would like to add something else, I would put it at the end. So when I rebuild the image, it will only build this part. So I would like to have cpan-m no test and dist Zilla. And let's rebuild this. So Docker get readme. Docker build my Docker. Oops. Okay, so it picked up all the already cached things, and now it's already installing the Perl module, which will still take time, but now I didn't have to wait for all the other things. And I used the no test to make it faster. And later on, I will, let me here get back while it's building. So I will later on, I will merge these run commands together. Okay, like this. So I won't have these layers, and then we'll rebuild the image. So because the layers are not that useful anymore at that point, and they just take some time up, some space up. And maybe I will remove the no test, but I don't know if I want to, because then I mean it takes a lot of time to build all these things and install them. On the other hand, so now I'm using the latest and greatest basically of this Zilla, because that's what cpanm does. But I could have used the apt-get, because I'm quite sure that this Zilla is part of the Ubuntu distribution that you can install with apt-get. I mean, we are using, in this case, we are using the system Perl anyway. In this, which is, some people don't like it. In this case, I feel it doesn't really matter, because it probably doesn't matter. If you were very focused on Perl and you would like only do that, then maybe you would, the whole thing, this image that you use for, I don't know, fixing cpan modules would be based on one of the Perl versions. Okay, and that's probably a Perl that's not the system Perl, but that's already installed next to the system Perl. Okay, and then you can use cpanm. It already comes with cpanm and so on. And that's the interesting part. You could, let me see this hub. This is how I access my user. I don't know. Don't remember anymore. No, apparently not. It remembers my password. At least the browser remembers it, because I don't. Okay, so yeah, I guess they are here. Thank you. I got the tea. I told you, right, that it's like a two-person job, the tea, because the teapot takes like 20 minutes or 25 minutes to get ready. So I put the teapot. Yeah, prepared everything. Now I got the water. Anyway, so you can configure, you can upload your own Docker images here. Not even that, actually, you can configure it that every time, and I don't remember, I did it a long time ago, at least you can see 2 years ago, whatever, that you can put, upload, basically you map your GitHub account, your GitHub project, and whenever you push out something to a new version to your GitHub project, it triggers a build on Docker Hub, and it will rebuild your Docker image that's configured in that repository. So basically, I forgot about all these things when I was starting to play with this MyDocker thing. I could take this MyDocker that I have and put it on this Docker Hub for everyone's use. Okay, not that any other person probably want to use that, but I could put it in, and then if I go to another computer where I don't have it, then I can use that. Okay, so Galaxy, do I still have this? Let's see if I still have this. GitHub, subgov, Galaxy. So this was, I think, an old project that I tried to build It's a Rakudo distribution. Okay, I don't even remember this so long ago. So this is a Rakudo distribution that included all kind of things that I wanted to have. Okay, because why is Galaxy? Because it was Rakudo Star, if you recall, if any of you were paying attention to that part. So there it was Rakudo Star was the main release, and then I put some stuff in it, and then it's mapped to Docker Hub. So whenever I would push here a new version, it will use this Docker file. Okay, so the Docker Hub will be notified, and it will use this Docker file to build a new image, and then people will be able to use it. So the same way, I will probably change my Docker, so I will have it here, and then I will be able to show it. Okay. What's going on with this one? Oh. So what happened? Something couldn't get installed even though IO socket SSL, net SSL lay. Let me. I don't really like
there's a couple of you need libSSL dev and all these other things to be installed on the operating system before you can do the Perl modules.
Yeah, so let's try to this. Okay, so this is where you get into this interactive mode. So I'll run this.
Yeah, you do.
Okay, and then I opt. What do I need there? Let's try to look at this one. So meta cpan, not meetup, meta cpan, and net SSL. I think in the recent versions they already have this explanation what you need exactly to install.
Yeah.
This is actually one thing that I asked a couple of the authors that it's in the README. Do we have a link here to the README? No direct link to the README. Okay, some idea for MetaCpan. So this is the source code. I go to the source code. Did I click this one? Slow lib. Oh, without the lib. The source and README, right? README. And here we have to. So this is what I asked people to. A couple of people to add the specific name of the package on the various operating systems, because they used to have, okay, you have to install and the libSSL or whatever, and I don't know what is the name of on Ubuntu or Debian or, and it's a nice way to. So I need this one, the libSSL dev and the zlib1g, I guess. So apt-get install libSSL. Let's try first instead of apt-get update. Yeah, it wasn't updated for a long time. So I need this one. And I need this one, right? And while I am doing this, let me also copy them here, so I won't forget what I did. For now, I just copy that way, and then, okay, so this was one of them, libSSL, and the other one is this one. Okay. it's already installed apparently. I don't know. Okay, so cpan m, and now I need to. I would like to install this one, the net SSL Li, right? To see if that works. Yeah. Questions?
Nope. Been through this exercise before.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, right?
Yeah, but you're exactly right. Doing it like this interactively, and then as you succeed, you then drop that command into your Docker file, and you haven't got to rework your steps. Yeah.
Yeah. So now I'm putting them at the top because, and it will take some time to. Too many else. Why? And why do I have these upgrade commands every row? I don't know. Okay, I could have just give the list of the packages. I doesn't matter. I see. And this is now reorganizing because this is the Perl stuff. This is the Python stuff. Python, Perl.
I think the reason you've got them on separate lines, Gabor, is because, as you said, when it's building the image, it builds intermediate ones. If you put them on a single line, then you've got to rebuild everything if anything on that line changes. Yeah.
No.
This
is a single command, so this will rebuild the whole thing. Well, the only thing I wasn't sure why I just didn't say just okay. I mean, I don't really need to repeat this apt-get. I think I just aligned nicely this way. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. You can just list them like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so now it installs. So we can try to install cpan m no test dist Zilla. Well, okay. What shall we do? What shall we do while we are waiting for this? Because it's really nice looking at it, but yeah. Let's try this something else here. So Docker examples and let's create an example with environment variables, okay, while it's trying to build it. So we have a Docker file that starts with from. Okay, so we have a Docker file, and then we have run echo demo, right? So we can say Docker build minus -t kuriku dot and Docker run kuriku, and it doesn't say anything. And if I say minus here, I say minus n demo equal to hello, then it still doesn't say anything. Oh, wait, no, that was good. So what is the problem? Maybe I need n demo here.
You can set a default in there as well in that Docker file if you want to, and then you can override it with a -e is what I've got in one of my samples at runtime.
It's the demo.
Yeah. I've got an equal sign in mine. Well, I'm not know if it's required or not, but we'll see. Yeah.
Okay, so if I just run now without anything, no, but it's printed out the demo here. What did I do wrong? Oh, no. It's CMD. Sorry, I don't.
CMD.
Okay. Confused. Run is executed during build time, and CMD is going to be executed during runtime. Okay. So I'm building it, running it. Okay, so this is demo. And it's still demo. Demo. One. So what I'm doing incorrectly? Any of you?
No, I'm assuming minus env is the same as a single minus e because I've only got that in my files. And then you'd need to pass in demo equals something at this point.
Oh, it's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, I'll keep it here and then I'll add it to the slides. Okay.
Mm.
And I'll have to fix the slides update her. Okay, so this is now installed now this Zilla. Okay, so so this is now the Docker. So we'll have to rebuild the Docker now. Yeah, let's rebuild it. It will take some time, but we'll have a fresh Docker image, hopefully. Yeah. Okay, so we had the environment. Let's take a look at the slide if there is anything else. Okay. Oh, I know. What are you? Docker. Strangely, where is the compose? Hey, here it is. Okay. So, what does Docker compose do? Okay. It's actually a Python library. What you can do is create a file called Docker compose YAML. And in that file, you can describe one or more containers, basically, that you would like to run. And then when you run it, they load this. Docker will start all of them together, and then you will have a network connection between all of these containers that's running inside. So it can be really useful when you would like to run several of them. So here is one YAML file. You create you say version number. This is the version number of the format of this file. Okay, and then you can have one or more services. Each service has a name, brilliantly named one. Okay, you can come up with better names here. You can say what image is based on. Okay, here I have a fixed image, but you can also, and I think we'll see, a command to build the image when you are starting. So this is a fixed image. And then it says to run it in interactive mode. Okay, and so that you created this file, and then you say Docker, you cd into the folder where it is, and you run Docker compose up. and it will start a Docker container based on this thing. Okay, and then you can attach to this container that's running.
Attach meaning what? Get back.
Well, basically, you can. I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I usually use Docker exec. So the container is running, and then Docker exec name of the running container, and then you get into that container. Okay. I don't know why it's host name here, but we'll you can try it later. Okay, but let me show this one before that. So here we have two services. One of basically, well, okay, basically both of them are being built at this when you launch the container, launch the Docker Compose using the current folder and the Docker file. Okay, I'm not even sure that you have to explicitly say the name of the Docker file, because that's probably the default. But well, but in this way you can have several Docker files. So let's say you have a multi-service application, okay, microservices, and you have several of these microservices. Some of them are in Perl, some of them in other language. And then besides that, you have the database, but that's we don't look at that. Huh? And then you can have each one of them can have its own Docker file in all dependencies. And in this way, you start all of them together. Okay, that's not really that interesting here.
Other than the fact, what do we know? What links them together? How they can talk to each other, or do they do they see? Do they appear? Go on.
The two, if it pings the name one, then it reaches this machine.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they are the names are mapped. This name it can be seen from this container, and this name from this container. I'll get you to the other one because we got to the slides. So here is one. Docker Compose Redis server. Okay, Redis. You know what Redis is? It's basically a caching system. Okay, right? Or you have a better explanation for that?
No, cache. Yep.
Yeah, I think it's just a cache. They call it a key database, right? But that's cache. So here we have two services in this container. One of them is, I called it brilliantly Redis, and it uses the Redis image, the latest one, okay? And nothing else. So this is just using the standard out-of-the-box Redis image. And the other one says, okay, build the image from the current folder. As you can see, I don't even name the Docker file because the Docker file is the default. But this is the Docker file, okay? So this Docker file will install curl and the Redis tools. And this one maps the current folder outside. So this dot means the folder on my computer to the /opt inside the container. So it's like the -v flag, the -v flag on the command line. Okay? And this one, we need this one, so we will know actually that mapping that I mentioned. So it says that we are linking to this image, this container, which is called Redis. So this name is corresponding to this word. The fact that I'm inside also calling an image Redis, it's unrelated basically. Okay, so this word corresponds to this name.
Well, so what does that links keyword actually do there then?
I think that's what sets up the network, that allows you to connect to it. Okay.
So why does the Redis container not need a links back to the client one?
Because it doesn't need to access it. Right?
Yeah. I'm just, yeah.
And this is just a command to do nothing. Okay, so let's get here. Examples, Redis. So what we need here is, this is how we run it. Docker compose up, and -d says daemon mode, so background. Oh, the swarm is, Kubernetes is the recent buzzword of how to run Dockers in the cloud. Swarm is an alternative, and at one client we are using Swarm for historical reasons, and now it's running, so it's complaint. But right now what you see is that it's installing. So that's it. Okay, so basically it started two containers. One is them called Redis 1, and the other one is Redis client 1. So the Redis comes, this one is the name of the folder, and this one, this Redis, is the name that we gave here. And the one is there because actually you could tell it to run several of these. Okay, I never found a reason like for development, but you could have several copies of the same service. So that's why it's called 1 here. And the other one is Redis client 1, because again, Redis is the name of the folder, client is the name here, which was just an arbitrary name. Okay, so now I'm running, and I can now connect to it. Okay, so I say docker exec -it means interactive mode to the Redis client 1. Okay, so this one, and inside open bash. Okay, so now I'm inside this container, the client container. It doesn't have any code, but I can play with it. So I can say Redis. I can ask, this is a Redis client, and I can ask it. It says, okay, the value of the field name is empty, obviously, because I didn't put anything in there. Now I'm going to put the foobar in the name. Okay, so this is the Redis command line client this is the name of the server. Okay, so this is how I refer to the server. Host, that's, I guess, the -h. And then this is the Redis command. So here I set the key name to the value foobar. And now if I ask it, it says, yes, it's foobar. Okay, you just put it there. So it's just a small demo to show you that now I have these two containers running, and I can Control-D, I disconnect from it. Docker PS will show me the two containers running. Okay, so I quit the container, but it's running because it's Docker container who executed it. And there is actually this command that keeps it running. Okay, so this is how I develop several projects. That I have this Docker compose file. I have the configuration for the databases, let's say MongoDB or whatever. I'll have an example for that. There is a source code for my code. I even map the external folder look internally. For this demo, I didn't need this. Okay, but in a real world scenario, you would want to use the code on your file system. And when you change it, you want to make it to be reflected inside. Okay, so that's why you would normally mount it. Okay, and then I can say docker compose stop, and I could give it the flag -t0, and it will do it immediately. But this way now is shutting down the two containers. It takes a couple of, I think, 20 or 30 seconds till it gracefully stops them. But that's it. Now, if I run docker ps, they are gone. Docker ps -a, they are still there. Okay. So they are not removed. If I rerun them, they will be there. They are stopped now. So
just to get my head around it, if we restarted the one we had, then we'd still have our entry in our Redis cache, wouldn't we?
yeah, docker compose up -d. Okay, so I'm running it. I don't need the -d, but I wanted to have my terminal here. Okay, if I just run it without -d, then it will, you will see the output here. So we get here. I even have the history inside.
Nice.
Okay, so it's there.
Yeah.
Okay. Docker compose stop. Yeah. So this is ready.
If you wanted a fresh instance, you would then just delete them and then rebuild them from the image, wouldn't you? If you wanted to clear your cache out and start again. Yeah.
Yeah. So the image is built. The image exists. Okay. So there are two levels here: the containers and the image. So it built an image, and it's using that image. If you look at this is it built an image called Redis client. So this is the Redis image, and this is the Redis client that was built from my Docker file. If you remove these containers, the Redis client 1 and Redis, that doesn't rebuild the image yet. The image is still there. Okay. So if you go here and you change this file, run apt get install curl. No, curl we already have something else. htop. Okay. If I now run docker compose up -d, it will still use the same image that it actually uses the same container now. So let's stop it now. Docker compose stop -t0. It will stop it immediately. So docker remove the and Redis client and Redis. So these are the two containers. But docker image ls still has somewhere the Redis client. Okay, it's called Redis client, the image that it built. It picked the name. Did I give it the name? No, I could give, I guess, the name, but it just decided it's called Redis client. Okay, so if I run docker compose up again, it won't rebuild the image. I won't have the htop yet. I don't have the history. I'm clicking on the, okay, and I don't have htop. If I would like, okay, so now if I would like to rebuild it, I can. Well, it's good that if I will need to stop it anyway. And I can say here, build. So now it will rebuild the image before starting it. Okay, docker ps and it replaced the two containers. So it rebuilt the image, and now if I run docker exec, no, I didn't like. Yeah. So this one now has htop. Okay. So if you change your Docker file, and you would, or let's say the list of dependencies. Okay. So if you that needs to be installed in the Docker for anything. Okay. Then you'll have to tell the Docker compose to rebuild the image, and then start the new containers based on that.
I guess at this point, because you deleted the container, we no longer have foobar. Is that right?
Yeah, that's also, yeah.
Yeah. So you threw away your cache, basically.
Actually, yeah, I think, where is the command?
Must have done, unless you mounted the volume, which I don't think you did.
Yeah, I think it doesn't have a permanent cache. Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't have a permanent, but you could map it to a file system, and then you a volume. So Docker has these volumes, and then it would store it there. So that's a different story. So this is just showing a quick here. So there's a Solr server. The example is a Solr server. Same thing. I was just trying to create a couple of these demos. So basically the same thing. And then it needs to use curl because a Solr client, I don't know what to use. Okay. So this is just showing that you can use Solr. And the other one that might be more interesting, or the two more, the MongoDB and the Postgres after that. So here, for the MongoDB, I didn't use the, didn't map. One could actually map to more volumes, internal volumes of Docker. These are external volumes, meaning you map an internal folder to an external folder. But there are another type of mounting, other type of volumes in Docker, where you mount a folder and which is internal to the Docker, to some virtual file that you don't actually need to know where it is located on your file system. And let me try to see if I have some Docker volume ls. So yeah, I have a bunch of them. Okay, so these are all kind of volumes. Basically, a volume is it's a sort of a virtual file system. And the reason to use these instead of using your own file system is that you don't need to know where it's located. Okay, you don't. It's Docker handles them. Okay, so here I have the MongoDB config data and database mapped. So this is how you would probably use a MongoDB, more or less the same. MongoDB using a MongoDB latest image and some client that has nothing in it. Okay, it's just a Mongo-based image, so you will have a Mongo client in there for the demo. Postgres is a little bit more involved because you have to, in the service where we have Postgres, you will have to give the name of the image and a bunch of environment variables. Okay, so here I define what is the Postgres username, password, and database name, the default database name. And then from my code, I know that what username and password to use. Okay, obviously this is not something that you would do with your production system. Okay, so that's a separate story how you would use the production, because you don't want to put your password in some clear text file. Okay, but for development, it's quite fine to have all these here, because the database that you're accessing is just inside your Docker container anyway. So there's no, it's not the real database. Okay, so this is how you tell Postgres what to configure, and then from your client you can give commands PSQL and give the name of the server and the username and the database name. And when it asks for the password, type in, well, I use the word password as password. Okay, just to confuse everyone. So that's it. Do we have some more time? Do you have questions here?
No, I'm good. I need to go and play with Docker Compose. I've never used that before, so that to me is an interesting new thing to play with.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go over some of this again.
Yeah.
When the video comes out, yeah. But
I'll link to I link definitely to the slides. Yeah.
I have one quick question. In the Postgres thing you've got there,
Yeah.
we're looking at the volume. Presumably, you have to create the volume some way. Sorry, I'm clicking on it. I was clicking on your screen, which didn't work. So in the volumes bit there, okay, so there's two parts of it. One of them's a dash, and I guess it says don't do anything. I don't want anything on my side. Is that correct? And then the other half, the database data, you presumably have to say somewhere.
You are asking about this, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
No,
is that
the dash, Steve, is just a list item. So there'll be another.
okay?
There could be another one underneath.
Yeah. So the dash
Okay,
here is
this is YAML, isn't it? Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Right. Okay. So it's getting late in the day. So the database data then is just a named volume that you've created.
Yeah. So here I create the volume. Okay.
Okay.
And
Oh,
here
right.
I connect this folder to that volume.
Okay. Right. So it's not something you did it. Okay. Now I understand. Thank you.
Okay. So this is just an arbitrary name that is the same as it here.
Yeah.
Okay. So these two need to be the same, and you can put any string there, even Kukuriku.
Okay. And just for completeness, so varlib Postgres data, is that on the host or on the container?
So this is on the in the container.
Right.
Okay.
And this is a virtual volume that is somewhere on the host system, but we don't care where.
Okay. So yeah, so it's reusable.
Yeah, and as opposed to this mapping, where you have a mapping of internally the /opt and externally wherever you are. Okay. So
yeah, so the volumes are managed by Docker, whereas your other things are your responsibility to map physical to container.
Yeah, and it's partially it could be really useful when using, well, I don't know if it's clearer, okay, this way. Okay, you can list them where you want to, as you saw. We can here I listed all these volumes. Okay, some of them have names, some of them they just were created automatically sometimes, so I guess I will remove them. So I have this long time ago, I created some demo for Jenkins, and I keep the volume around, so all the configuration is still there, but that was a long time ago, so maybe I should delete it. Okay, so and this is this Mongo, so this is the Postgres. Okay, so the two data, basically two Postgres needs actually two, I think, but for some reason I only have here one. I don't know. Mongo definitely needs two. That's why we have two. One of them is configuration database, and another is this.
And the PostgreSQL prefix there, I just trying to work out when that's come from. That's just because of the example. It's the directory it's in.
Here?
Yeah, the prefix, because it's called database data in the file. So I guess it's.
I'm not sure if this. I'm not sure that
it's not helping.
Okay, so I'm not sure that this created these ones. Okay.
Okay.
But I think yes. I think yes. So it's in the Postgres SQL folder. So I guess that's how it. Okay. So basically, because this folder and then database data, and I don't know why is this other one, the PG data volume. Oh, because it's another folder. Sorry. Postgres SQL. Oh, it's somewhere else. I don't know where. Okay. So I guess this corresponds to this one.
Okay.
Okay, and the other one is I have no idea why. What is that? Now we can actually say, so we can say Docker volume inspect and the name, and it will give you the actual physical location of this on your file system. If you really want to know that.
You might want to back it up.
Yeah.
Yes, but just to remind you, but you can do this only on Linux. If you are on Mac, I think you can't. Definitely, if you are on Windows, you can't, because for Windows, it's the whole thing is virtualized, because it's not really running on Windows. You have a Linux system first, and on top of that, you have Docker.
Can you sort of mount that like a file system, so you can actually?
You can look at it. It's your file. It's a file.
Oh, okay.
It's
Okay.
empty, but
Okay. Okay.
Let me try to see Jenkins. What do we have here? Okay, so it's just file system. That's how Jenkins looks like, so don't worry. What we do have is that this finished. So well, we wanted to play with that module. Now, but the next time that has this Zilla. But well, we are way out of time, so we'll do it the next time. Okay.
Okay, no problem.
Now we have at least have an image, and we can play with that. So what I would like to I'll also write it in the chat, but next week I won't be able to do it again because I'm on vacation again. Sorry for that. But then after that we have a couple of weeks straight that I won't be on any, hopefully, in anywhere else. Okay,
that's fine.
Okay,
so try to do more pull requests, and please write some blog posts at least to link to that and put the so remember, right? Where is this? Yeah, in your files you have a list of blog posts. Well, one. So please write some blog posts, link, refer to the whatever you did in the course. I sent this pull request, and what you don't. If you don't like to write a lot of text, fine. Just link to the pull requests in that blog post. Okay.
Okay.
And then put the link of the blog post here. Okay. Send the pull request there. Okay. So we'll be able to show a little bit more of more activity.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. And well, I stop the recording now. And see you next time.